Happy Star Wars Day, ladies and gentlemen. Your host, Griever, here as always, wishing you all a very happy May the 4th be with you. May it be with us all. And what better way to celebrate that than to have a Star Wars content video? Sure, why not? I love Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars. I saw the prequels in theaters. I, unfortunately, also saw all the sequels in theaters. And I grew up on the old VHS tapes before George Lucas got his hands in it in the 90s. I saw the originals. So, that being said, I figured we should talk about, in my opinion, the greatest Star Wars video game of all time. Star Wars is one of my favorite fandoms, ladies and gentlemen. And I am a huge nerdy gamer. So, why not combine the two? I was trying to decide, what should I talk about? Should I do a character discussion? Should I review one of the movies? Should I do something like that? And then I realized I have yet to do a Let's Play or a talk or anything about one of my favorite games of all time. One of the best RPGs with one of the, now with Disney with their hands and stuff, one of the greatest non-canon currently characters of all time. Right here in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Now, in my opinion, this is better than the Jedi Outcast games. And it's better than Jedi Academy, though I own that as well. And I loved Kyle Katarn and the Jedi Academy sequel that followed. And you could argue that maybe you guys preferred Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic to the Sith Lords. That was also a really great game. And I have not played Jedi Fallen Order. So I haven't had the opportunity yet to play that. Honestly, just because I'm cheap and I don't want to drop $80 waiting for that stuff to go down in price. But until I play that, as far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest of all the Star Wars video games. And it's not hard to understand why. This game is BioWare at its finest, when they were making the titles where they just couldn't go wrong. They had the Mass Effects. They started Dragon Age shortly after this, and they had two incredible Star Wars titles. The RPG BioWare feel of things was just exactly what Star Wars needed. And this game has some of the best just gameplay and modding capability and the voice acting and the just the overall feel of the game was a treat. It was a long game. They let us go to so many planets. They let us do so many things. We got to decide our characters, the RPG elements, the leveling up, decide which side, dark side, light side. You want to be somewhere in between, making moral choices and stuff. This suits Star Wars. BioWare gameplay at its core is the best way to represent a Star Wars game. To represent the idea of the light side of the Force, the dark side of the Force, making decisions, who joins your team, where you're going to go, how you're going to handle every situation. It was grand. It was one of the, it got Game of the Year for a reason. It was a fantastic title, and still to this day, I have so much fun with it. Even its things that were improved upon in the Sith Lords, I can still I just can't get over it. The character, your party members are all enjoyable. All the amount of stuff you can do. I remember being in the first world forever, trying to perfect and get everything right, because you can mess up. You can forget a quest. You can do this, you can do that. And some things, you can't complete every quest. If you want to be a light side Force user, I always remember, at the very beginning of the game, you get crash landed after the Endar Spire battle. That was... what a great opening, wasn't it? A ship under attack by Sith and all this stuff, and everything's going down, and we are so far removed, which was probably the best idea. We were so far removed from the original trilogy at this junction. We were removed from everything. So they didn't need to throw in unnecessary cameos just to make the fans go, wow. You know, they said, okay, this is thousands of years before New Hope. So not even Yoda is alive at this point. So you can't even expect to see Yoda. We got Master Vandar, of course. But the idea that it's just like, okay, this was in an age long ago. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away has never been a more truer statement with Knights of the Old Republic. This game had every element we needed, because it could tell an original story while sticking true to the Star Wars tropes when necessary. And the amount of time you spent talking about new Force techniques. I'm not 100% on my canon here, or the expanded universe, legends, whatever they started calling it now, was like battle meditation. Was that invented for this game and became part of the expanded universe? I don't know, but I had never heard of it until I played this game. The idea that the Sith weren't just, red lightsaber Jedi that went evil was a new concept for me as well. I had read novelizations, but it all happened in the time of the Republic, when the Rule of Two was established, or in the time of A New Hope, when there was still Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. And I wasn't exactly up on everything, but the idea that the Sith were an army, that when they talked about a Sith army, at first I thought, wow, so all these guys, there's going to be 100 red lightsaber Jedi? No. They were an army. They were a faction. It was a thing. And then later on, of course, we found out more, but just the elements that were added into this game as someone who picked up a few comics, read a couple of novelizations, and only watched the movies, this opened my eyes to all the different possibilities of what Star Wars as a wider universe had. It had so much more to offer. And, of course, we will talk about the big spoiler at the end here. We will talk about the big spoiler, and I'll make sure to talk about a spoiler warning for one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time was introduced in this game. And for all you Darth Bane lovers, I'm glad you were excited that he became canon and everything like that. But there is a better Sith Lord than Bane, and he was introduced in this game. Like there was just the amount of lore and history and the amount of longevity that this game has. It's just absolutely incredible. If I can figure out a good way to, do a let's play of this or something like that, I would gladly do it. I've been thinking about that for a while, in all honesty, and I don't know why I haven't done that yet. In all honesty, with all my let's plays and all this time that we all have here in this trying times of 2020, you'd think I'd have time to play one of the best games of all time. In fact, I think I'm going to try to start setting that up, because just talking about this game has gotten me hype. Now, I'm not going to do I can do a review about the fact that the soundtrack itself was amazing. And even though you can add in some of the more classic Star Wars things, that was a big thing. Modding this game was part of the fun. And modding number 2 was even more fun. Number 2's modding was just through the roof. But the idea of modding, but not breaking the game, just enhancing the game. The constant ability to just, all right, I want this, that, and the other thing to make this feel better, or that to be less glitchy, or to add more content. People couldn't get enough of modding these games. I remember entire sites dedicated to organizing, rating, and making everything available, and having different modders work together with different mods so that their mods would work together in harmony. This was my first real introduction to fan modifications of video gaming at that level of scale. And I realized how fantastic it truly was. Because you could play this game normally, and you could do it any way you wanted, and you could replay the game and play it a completely different way, and you could do that multiple times, just like any good BioWare game. And then, when you think you'd finally done it all, go on a mod site. And you're not just adding a couple of fetch quests and a different lightsaber color. You're adding entire new storylines with entire new characters and a new direction, sometimes even new planets completely, entire new areas of the game added. It's one of the things that make it timeless, that you will almost never have the exact same experience unless you try to. You would have to play this game a multitude of times, romance options, the characters, just there's just so much. And before we end it off, let's talk about the spoiler. Let's talk about the big thing that we all took away from Knights of the Old Republic. 3, 2, you've been warned. 1, Darth Revan. Darth Revan. The greatest And my favorite Sith Lord next to Darth Vader. Yeah. Outside of, I guess, movie canon Sith Lords. Revan is up here for me. Revan's got to be my favorite Sith Lord outside of Palpatine and Vader. It's probably nostalgia part and parcel for that, but even great guys like Darth Maul, a huge fan favorite. He's not Darth Revan for me. And remember, I grew up with him. I was only 8 or 9 years old when Episode 1 came out. I was there in theaters watching the double-bladed lightsaber and the first Duel of Fate coming onto screen with Liam Neeson, being Liam Neeson. And I also remember, Christopher Lee as Count Dooku, or Darth Tyrannus. Another great addition. It's just Darth Revan, and the reveal that your character was Darth Revan the entire time. This was the amnesia storyline that everybody hates. In manga, in TV, in movies, the whole amnesia crap that everybody hates, it was not hated by a single person. I can't think of anybody who actually complained about the amnesia storyline of this game. That made his character. That made the game. This was the amnesia storyline done right for the first time in... I think it's the first time before or since. I've never liked the amnesia storyline. It's one of the worst tropes in all types of fiction. And this right here, it was done right. And it was beautiful. It was wonderfully handled. It was one of the biggest bug-eyed out game blow-up, shocking moment reveals in video game history. It still topped people's top 15 and top 10 lists on YouTube for biggest wow moments or surprising endings or twists in video game history. It still makes these lists. And since then, of course, games have become more cinematic, more story-driven than they ever were, I think, intended to be when video games first started getting into the era of 64-bit and 3D. But I don't think anybody expected to have something to this scale back then. And even to this day, I can argue that the storyline in this game and how it flows and you follow it is one of the best. And once again, Darth Revan just being such an amazing character. I know for a fact that the Clone Wars TV series, there was a deleted scene apparently. I haven't caught up with that story, the entirety of all the seasons. I've been trying to catch up with it. But I do know that there was a deleted scene with Revan involved. They felt it didn't fit, and that's fine. That was a creative decision. They really wanted to put Revan in there. But we were this close to making him canon. A lot of people love Darth Bane, but I gotta say, step aside, Bane, because the real Master of the Sith Legends character, the only Sith Lord outside of Disney that's number one, is this guy. This guy is number one. He's the best from the expanded universe. He has such depth. I couldn't praise him enough. I nearly considered, instead of doing a video game review for this game, talking about how the gameplay flowed, the BioWare feel to it, being the best part, of course, of a Star Wars game. I think it handles the whole light and dark side of the Force and your lightsaber, the RPG elements, everything just works for a Star Wars title. Better than most games. A lot of people like the whole hack and slash or action-adventure styles, which are fine for Star Wars games, but I don't think they speak as much to the customization that we all truly want from Star Wars, and being able to truly select our own path with the light and the dark side of the Force and how we want to handle every given situation. I think BioWare gameplay is the way to do it. And as I said, the story is, I've been raving about the story and the characterization. It's fantastic. I can still go back and play level 1 and enjoy myself and want to go through every nook and cranny. It's not one of those games that once you've done all the minor quests, you never want to do them again. You just want that 100% completion. No. If I go back and play this game, I guarantee you I will try to do every single mission on Terrace. I will try to do every single damn mission, and even with the ones where you get dark side points instead of light side points. But I want that completion. I want to do that mission. It's such an enjoyable game. And as I said before, the soundtrack. One of my favorite OSTs is actually from the sequel game, the Jedi Enclave sound. It's one of the only things that I could say that stacks up to the original, to John Williams' soundtrack himself. It fits the Star Wars feel. Everything in this game feels like a true addition to the Star Wars universe as a whole. And I just don't know what else to say. I considered actually doing a Darth Revan character discussion for May the 4th. But once I realized that it's the game I wanted to talk about. Because the game is just... Yeah, you know what? I'm going to start playing it. It's not on this computer yet, but I still have my original copy. It's still in here. So I think I'm going to load this up. I'm going to go battle against Darth Malak, who I think is an actual really good character. The idea of the star maps and the whole storyline that you follow. Jolie Bindo, HK-47. These are the characters we needed. Carth Onasi. They're all fantastic characters. And now I just got an urge to play this. I do. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I hope you guys, if you guys have never heard of this game, and you've never played it, I urge you, please go buy it, officially and stuff. I'm sure it's on Steam and all that such. But seriously, play this game. Do yourself a favor. If you like video games and you like Star Wars and you haven't played this game, you have done a dishonor to yourself. It's kind of like that moment when you find that TV series that becomes one of your favorites of all times. For me, it was Firefly. Firefly was out for years before I even knew it existed. And once I found out about it, it's become one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I'm a browncoat in that camp. But I waited too long. That's the only regret I have, is that I wasn't watching it sooner. And in the same way, this game is something that you owe it to yourself as a Star Wars fan to play. It is fantastic. I can't praise it enough. 10 out of 10. One of the best games of all time. And now I'm going to boot it up and start playing it, I think. Just talking about it here for the past 15, 20 minutes, with re-records and everything, because I always stumble over my words in these videos, has gotten me nostalgic, and now I just want to play it. I'm feeling it. I've been playing a lot of Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, as you guys know, but now I really want to play this game again. I think it's just going to be great. So I hope you guys are enjoying your Star Wars Day, however you celebrate it. Whether you are wearing Star Wars boxers, whether you are watching the Clone Wars TV show, whether you're wearing a shirt like yours truly and about to play the best Star Wars game of all time, whether you're just going to get mad that EA screwed up Battlefront 2 in its initial release. Whatever have you. Or, lo and behold, maybe go watch a Star Wars film. You never know. I mean, that could be a way to celebrate Star Wars Day, but I feel like my other options, the former are much better options, Watch a Star Wars movie. It's not like it started as a movie series. Yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great May the 4th. Like, comment, and subscribe. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day, ladies and gentlemen. This will be Griever, signing off. May the Force be with us all.